Okay, Pete the cat checks out the library. Pete's mom is taking him to the library for the very first time. The librarian gives Pete his very own library card. Does anybody have a library card in here?
No.
Not yet?
No.
Okay.
I have one at home.
Yeah, cool.
I don't.
Cool, says Pete. The librarian smiles. Time for a tour. The librarian takes Pete through the library. There is a big desk where people can wait to check out books. Pete sees some friends of his reading at a long table. It's very peaceful and quiet. How relaxing. The librarian takes Pete to her favorite room. There are lots of Pete-sized chairs and tables and shelves. There are books of every shape, size, and color. What do I do now? Pete asks. Now you read a book, the librarian says. Which book should I read? Asked Pete. You can read any book you like, says the librarian. Pete looks around. There are so many books. Pete picks a book all about airplanes and jets. He reads and pretends he's a stunt pilot. He flies a super fast jet and does loop-de-loops and spirals high in the sky. The plane's upside down, isn't it? Then Pete finds a book about dragons, wizards, and unicorns. He reads it and imagines that he is a powerful wizard using magic spells and a special wand to defend his castle against a fire-breathing dragon. Next, Pete opens up a book about spiders and insects. He reads it and imagines that he is a scientist studying all types of critters in the wild. He has to be very still to study some critters and very fast to study others.
Oh.
Then Pete chooses a book with all sorts of scary monsters on the cover. It's a book of fairy tales. Pete reads it and pretends that he is in a dark, spooky forest, trying to outsmart the big, bad wolf. Pete puts that book back on the shelf. It is too scary. Pete opens up a book about the pyramids in Egypt. He reads it and pretends that he is an explorer riding a camel across the desert and climbing to the top of the of a giant pyramid. Next, Pete picks a book with all sorts of robots on the cover. He reads it and imagines that he is a robot at a robot dance. His arms and legs make whizzing sounds when he moves. When Robot Pete speaks, he says, bleep, bloop, bleep. I am a robot. Next, Pete picks up a book about superheroes. He reads it and makes believe that he is a superhero. He flies around the city in a colorful cape, chasing bad guys and saving the day.
Bad cat.
Then Pete spots a big book about the oceans and all its critters.
Even sharks.
He reads it and imagines that he is a scientist in a submarine deep in the Atlantic Ocean, looking for whales, squids, and sharks.
Sharks.
There are so many wonderful books to read in the library. Pete can be whatever he imagines with a book. The end.